Greetings to you, dear viewers of Divine Mercy Radio Television, and welcome to our program Signs and Symbols in the Church. I am Father Gavi Zinking. I am your host, and today I would like us to talk about one other particular thing in our series, the regalia of our prelates, which we have been discussing recently. Today we shall be talking about the Pallium. What is the symbolism of the Pallium? That name, which is somewhat strange to many Christians, is one of the things that an archbishop puts on cardinal and the Holy Father. And we have been talking about so many other things in our previous editions. We have spoken about the pectoral cross, the bishop's ring, the mitre, the crozier, and today we shall be talking about the pallium. I would like to begin by signifying that the pallium is not worn by the bishop or the priest. It is a cardinal. It is an archbishop and all the hierarchy that follow upwards that puts on the pallium. What is the pallium? What is its history? And what is its symbolism? These are the three things that are going to guide our discussion during today's episode. Thank you for your keen attention, and let us delve straight into what the pallium is. By definition, we could define the pallium from the Latin or the Roman origin of the word pallium or palla, which is a wooden clock. That word is in itself Latin, so it is a borrowed word, and it means a wooden clock, pallium. And it is a strip of white wool which is worn around the neck of a collar over the chasuble, with two strips, one hanging down the front and one hanging down the back. So two strips, one hanging in front, one hanging behind. It is worn by the Holy Father, by metropolitan archbishops, by patriarchs of Jerusalem may also wear the pallium. So like I earlier signified, bishops do not wear the pallium. The bishops wear the other regalia, which we have discussed in our previous episodes, but not the pallium. So what is the origin of the pallium? What we always see the archbishop put on. For those in our province, you take note of that with Archbishop Nkea. You see him put on the pallium, and you see that also in other parts of the world with other metropolitan archbishops, maybe the Archbishop Monsignor Samuel Kreda of Douala, or of the other provinces in our country. I'm just calling these because these are those close to us where we can easily take note and observe, like we see in the images, the pictures that we have on our screen. So what is the origin of this particular attire? Why should they add this on their liturgical vestment? Already, take note that it is worn in the context of the liturgy, not out. It is worn within the context of the liturgy. We will begin by signifying that the pallium predates Christianity in itself. The pallium was about 12 feet length long, with some warmth with path around the neck. So originally, the pallium, like many of the other liturgical ornaments that we have discussed in our previous episodes, was not originally Christian. I don't want to say it was a muffler, like some may think, but before it was something similar to that, and it was worn even by the laity, by the lay people, and it was a little bit longer than we have it today, with a long strip and with some warmth part around the neck, which could help to keep you warm. So Christians adopted this garment in view of a sign of their fidelity to Christ, and so there was some kind of religious sentimentalism added to it. So when normal Christians wore it, it was a way in which they tried to signify their fidelity to Christ. That was how the usage of the pallium evolved. By the 3rd century, it was worn by both the laity and the clergy. By the 4th century, by the Pope, and eventually exclusively by him. So by the 4th century, it was only the Holy Father who wore the pallium. But by the 5th century, the Pope wore this, and those important clergy who had received it as a gift from the Pope. So by the 4th century, it was exclusive to the Pope. And then later on, the Pope could give it to anybody, any other significant prelate that he chose to give it to them as a gift. So it was more of an honorific regalia or garment. It's just like, imagine in a state when the government gives you a medal for maybe years in service. So if the Holy Father chose maybe a particular bishop to give you, it didn't mean that you were maybe particularly special from the others or what. No, it was because of some reason the Holy Father chose to give you. So that's how it was at that time. And that went on for quite some time, right up to the 9th century, where exclusively the Pope, metropolitans, archbishops, and some bishops of special distinctions, maybe because of the particular role that they played, maybe in the Vatican or somewhere, these bishops wore the pallium. But a decree came up in the year 1978, which was issued by the Pope, and this decree precised thereon till what we have today, that the pallium should be worn by the Pope himself, metropolitan archbishops, and all the hierarchy, the cardinal and the rest, and no bishop. And that's when all the other aberrations completely stop, and it is what it is in the church today. So therefore, presently, the pallium is much shorter and is embroidered with 6 black crosses, like you see on the image, 6 black crosses. And take note that the pallia, that is the plural form of pallium, the pallia are made each year from the lamb's wool, freshly shred, on the feast of St. Agnes, that is on the 21st of January. Every year, it is on that particular day, the 21st of January, the feast of St. Agnes, that the pallia are fabricated or are made with the skin of the lamb's wool, the skin of the lamb. As a tradition which, this tradition originated during the pontificate of Pope John the 13th. Pope John the 13th began this tradition. That was in the year 965 to 972. That was the reign or the period of his pontificate. So that is where this tradition of fabricating the pallia in that manner came about. The woven pallia are then kept in a small silver box after they have been made. They are kept in a small silver box in a crypt area under the high altar at the Basilica of St. Peter, near St. Peter's tomb. So when they are fabricated, they are kept in this wooden box, and they are kept under the tomb of St. Peter. On the feast of St. Peter and St. Paul, that is on June the 29th, the Holy Father then solemnly blesses this pallia and presents them to the metropolitan archbishops who have who are eligible to it, put it that way. So that is the simple process. They are made or they are fabricated on the 21st of January on the feast of St. Agnes, and then they are taken to the Basilica of St. Peter and they are kept beside his tomb, and they will remain there until the feast of St. Peter and St. Paul on the 29th of June, where in the solemn liturgical ceremony, the Holy Father is going to bless them, and he will present them to all the metropolitan archbishops and all those who are eligible to it at that time. These different regalia, in all their own ways, signify the importance that the church accords to whatever is happening. But then, is it just for some show that it happens the way it happens and it is arranged in that manner? Let us now look at the symbolism of the pallia. What does it mean, and why it is done the way it is done in the church, and why those particular people, why the bishop cannot wear it, but the archbishop, the metropolitan archbishop of a province, should be the one to wear it. The pallium is a symbol of the jurisdiction conferred upon the metropolitan by the Roman pontiff, simply. So the reason why the archbishop puts it on is because it is a symbol of his jurisdiction, of his authority conferred upon him by the metropolitan as metropolitan by the Roman pontiff, and it signifies his participation in the Pope's supreme pastoral office. So that is the clear and direct significance that we can attach to the wearing of the pallium by the Archbishop. It signifies his participation in the Pope's supreme pastoral office. It also represents his particular close union with Rome, with the See of Rome. So we already see that there is some particular link between the Metropolitan Archbishop and the Holy Father and the See of Rome, because first of all, he shares in the authority, the pastoral office of the Holy Father, and then more so, he has to keep this close link, this close union between him and the Holy Father. And when he wears this pallium, he signifies his fullness under the pontifical power of the Holy Father. That means that he brings himself under the authority and sovereignty of the Holy Father. Now, to conclude, let us look a little bit at the material with which the pallium is put on. We said that the pallium is made up of the wool, the skin taken from the sheep of the lamb. From the skin of a lamb. This, in its very self, is very significant in that the lamb is usually regarded as a very peaceful animal. The lamb is a symbol of peace. Behold the Lamb of God. In the liturgy we use that image of the lamb representing Jesus Christ being the Lamb of God, the sacrificial lamb who gives up his life, sacrifice for the expiation of sin. So the lamb is a very peaceful and docile animal. And so the pallium too is a symbol of the mission of every archbishop to carry the peace and unity of the church, and not only of the church and of the world. And in that way, literally, we can say that the archbishop is an apostle of the Prince of Peace. Who is the Prince of Peace? Jesus Christ himself. Jesus Christ being the Prince of Peace, the archbishop is an apostle of the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ himself. So, dear viewers, that was a little bit on what we had prepared to share with you about signs and symbols. Today's edition was about the pallium. The pallium is what is worn by the archbishop, the Metropolitan Archbishop of a province, and he wears this in significance or in symbolism of his participation in the papal or in the Holy Father's authority and pastoral office over the whole world, and him particularly over that particular province to whom he has been assigned. And so thank you very much for your undying interest in our program Signs and Symbols in the Church, and stay tuned to more episodes, and stay tuned as well to Divine Mercy Radio Television. Thank you.